I listened to a podcast about gaming, and there's this one guy who's the biggest fucking buzzkill, bro. As soon as it goes to him, I'm just depressed.
What podcast?
Giant Beastcast.
Giant Beastcast. Shout out to Giant Beastcast. You have one boring guy on there.
Yeah, and he just talks about fucking pinball machines.
There's nothing wrong with
Pinball machines are cool, but fuck, don't talk about them every week.
Fun you can have with a pinball
Nah,
machine.
cause pinball machines are fucking sick.
Nah, bro. You know when you stand there and it's like, oh, like you actually think you're doing well and the ball never comes back? That's me, huh? You know, it's like, oh yeah, I hit a few things and it's gone, but I never get the ball back. And then the other guy's ball keeps going on and on and on.
But that's the thing. You got to understand what you need to do with them to unlock different stages. Do you remember the one that was on Windows fucking 2000 or whatever it was? Bro, that one I knew how to get to 1,000,000 points straight away because I knew I had to hit certain letters to unlock certain things so that my ball goes in a thing and spins around for 10 minutes and just gives me fucking points.
Yeah, there was a glitch in that game. I remember it was like there was that little circle hole where the ball goes in and you used to go and then go back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, I used to exploit that.
Yep. And just
I'm a
have your
shit
gutters
player.
up so it doesn't fucking go in the thing. That's it. You catch the ball and then flick it where you want.
So, interesting. But other than that, how are you, gentlemen?
Good. Another week.
Good.
Gone.
Good. Mark, you sound well.
No, sorry. It's just a V that I'm drinking. It's made me phlegmy.
Yeah, I tried to write to V.
Stop making us phlegm.
See if they might want to sponsor us.
Endorse
But
us.
the message never went through. So, if you're watching,
What do they call them? Fucking cum gutters? Is that what they're called?
What?
I think Rick and Morty refers to them as cum gutters. You know that V line that you get on your stomach? If you sponsor us, V, I'll fucking grow cum gutters.
and looks like we're going to Red Bull now then. Nah, it's been a
It's false advertising. It does not give you wings.
it's been a pretty
Eventful week.
eventful week. Yeah, 100%, man. Like I don't think there's a word for it because this is like, to be honest, like if I had to compare it to a moment, this will be going down in history from a tech world point of view. Like
Yep.
this whole GameStop versus the hedge fund versus Reddit versus the trading platforms and all that type of stuff that's just happened. It's the irony is it's like it's a weird version of like a Me Too movement. Do you know what I mean?
Look,
Yeah.
I think before we get into, the whole detail of it all, there's a lot of people out there who don't know what actually happened. So maybe we can do like an introduction into what this whole GameStop has been about. So just starting off very, very basically what the company is pretty much is like the EB Games of America, right?
Well, their subsidiary is EB Games.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Such a
it's
lame
like
name, but
go in,
GameStop.
buy games, trade them in, and pretty much because of COVID, they've been fucked. Probably one of the most fucked industries.
No,
Because
it's not.
They've been going down for
they
a
have been
while,
going
yeah.
down, but COVID hasn't helped with people
Yeah.
not being able to go into store and stuff like that because most consoles and online stuff, you just download the games
Download,
now,
that's
so
right.
there's no
Yeah.
need for a physical
Like,
copy
I-
of the
I-
game.
I get it more like from an Australian perspective, the physical aspect of a console or even PC, for example, still is more sold through stores. Only on the senses of because our internet isn't obviously the greatest in the country, and considering the way the games are, we're looking at 50, 60, 80 gigs. It's just a lot more easier to
Yeah.
just go and buy it rather than
Yeah,
waiting there for
that's
8
true.
to 10 hours.
Yeah, look, I think we underestimate how bad America's network is as well. I mean, in the big cities, it's really, really good, but if you're living anywhere remotely remote,
Mississippi.
your internet's bad. But I think it's not just that. It's like there's so much competition now. Let's talk Australia, right? It used to be Games Wizard or whatever it was, then it changed to Game, and then it was EB Games. But now
Wizard
you've got like
Online.
JB Hi-Fi, you've got Harvey Norman, you've got like everyone who sells video
Yeah.
games, like even Big
Even
W and Kmart,
Kmart, that's
Target,
right, yeah.
like they're big. I think
And,
Kmart
the
does it.
big guy themselves, Mr. Bezos, Amazon, number one sponsor here, my friend.
But that's still an online avenue. But I'm
Yeah.
talking just like
No,
walk in.
They send you the physical game.
Yeah, but you're buying it online still.
Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah.
So the walk-in sales aren't really affecting that, but there's so much competition for it now that a store like... And you can see the evolution of what EB has become. It used to just be video games, consoles.
Yeah.
Now they're selling beanies and
Yeah,
collectibles. And, they're
collectibles.
just trying to stay in
And
the
they made
market
that
for
partnership.
something.
It was a Zing. where they sell those.
Yeah.
The pop culture
Pop
things.
culture, yeah, that's it. They made that massive thing that they built into the store like that. No, I agree with you. Like they were something massive when we were young.
That's right.
That's the easiest way to pretty much.
And pretty much people got a scent of this, right? And they said a scent as in a smell of it, and said that the share price is gonna drop.
Well, it was more the hedge funds themselves shorting a stock, as in they. Now this is where it's more speculation rather than confirmed data. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now the hedge fund, they shorted the stock, which means that they pretty much placed. What's the easiest way to explain
You
this?
put bets on it
They
going
put a
down.
bet
Much, yeah,
to say
they're
that
pretty
it was
much betting that the company's going to go to shits. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the easiest way to put it. When they did that, the speculation behind it was they were going to force it, which is media manipulation. Whether it's attacking through social media or you spread rumors and stuff like that. That's what they're actually genuinely known for.
Mm-hmm.
That's the horrible part of it. And the bad thing about all that is, they make billions. And probably the CEOs of or whatever companies they are, they'll get away with it somehow on their yacht somewhere. It's the people below them that's going to cop the massive blow.
That's right. Can I just cut you off, Fatih, just to explain shorting a stock a little bit better? So pretty much most people who invest on a share market, you want to buy, like, for example, a stock at $3, it goes to $6, you sell and you make money. So the way that shorting a stock works is like you don't actually buy stocks, you sort of like borrow the stocks off somebody else. So you get it from them and they give it to you when it's $6, for example. You take that stock and you sell it for $6. You expect it to drop down to $3, and when it drops down to $3, you buy that stock back and give it to them. Initially, you've made the difference between the stock
So,
price.
so in that scenario, it'd be like $3.
Yeah, you've made
Yeah.
$3 on it, and you've given their stock back, which was worth $6 when they gave it to you, and now it's $3. So
It's like daylight robbery.
it's pretty much you're pretty much, bro. It's pretty much opposite of what the share market is, right? Everyone wants to buy low, sell high. These guys want to buy high and then buy low again to give it back to whoever they got it from. With this hedge fund, I don't know how it works with hedge funds though, and like who they approach to get those stocks off.
Banks, I think.
Probably these
sure
are the
it's
guys that know the
You
market.
guys have watched
probably
Big
in and out.
Short, haven't
That's
you?
what I was going to say. If we
Yeah.
want a better explanation, I can't put it, but Margaret Robbery somewhere on that video has an explanation of what Emin just said in a bathtub. So if you want to watch
That's
that, that's what they always refer
And
to.
it's a lot more like interesting to watch than me fucking talking about
I
it.
found Emin more sexier to watch listen to than Margaret Robbie. All right, but yeah, look, with that happening, obviously word got around. Our core of the internet, Reddit,
Yeah,
found
good
out.
Samaritans.
And obviously we know, this isn't like something that just came out of the blue and like me and like Emin actually mentioned this off air. It's not something that came out of the blue and it's a bunch of like 200,000 people just jumped on board. There's people that knew about this and it's been happening for quite some time.
Months, yeah.
Months. Only the last week, mass media, the average Joe picked up on
Yeah,
this and
it's
said, hey, we
coming
can
out.
make some money. And they actually genuinely tried. Now, again, the stock, I think off the top of my head, was three months ago, was like $4 for GameStop, okay, which was average, and it was like $4 or changing between then and there for a while. I think at the beginning of this week, it went from like $19 to $43 to $190 to like 300 and something. Now, the big problem was what happened this morning. So this morning, when everyone woke up and said, you know what, we're going against the hedge funds that are shorting the stocks, and we're going to make sure that you guys go bankrupt before that company does. So pretty much a RobinHood type of deal against them. The irony is, one of the trading platforms in America that's widely used by like the average person, not like your, say in our scenario, it'd be like ComSec or, you got NabTrade and stuff like that. They got one called RobinHood as well.
Okay.
Which is
Which is
ironic.
which is the irony part. They came out in the morning just as soon as roughly when the markets open, or maybe say an hour afterwards, and they said that they were halting or they removed those stocks from their platform so that people couldn't buy the shares to boost up the stock like the plan was. Instead, what happened was people that had the shares, people panicked, they sold and ended up working in favor of the hedge funds. Now, we all based on just pretty much what I said, it's illegal. I'm chucking a Dana here. It's fucking illegal. Okay.
Hey, that's illegal.
Okay. It's when they did that, it's pretty much what the hedge funds do, which is as soon as it opens, we're gonna boost. We're gonna buy what we need, and we're gonna hammer it. But when the average person did it, and it was affecting the people that were affecting the rich, is the easiest way to say it. It sort of felt like people just went, okay, you're supposed to be a trading platform. You don't have a dog in this
Favors
fight.
or whatever, yeah.
That's right. You don't have a dog in this fight. Your job is to do what your service says, which is, I want to trade, pretty much.
Yeah.
Once they removed it, everyone lost their shit. They said, well, this is literally class action lawsuit territory. And from what I read, I'm pretty sure that the some of the users or most of the users that was actually using Robinhood have actually filed a class action lawsuit against them. The shit thing is, and I'm summarizing this here because I can't remember their statement properly, the excuse behind it was that we're trying to protect you from making stupid decisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which would work if you did the same thing to the hedge funds.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I want to buy 50 million in Kodak. Do you know what I mean? It's like a company that they still exist, but they're not what they were. And they're not going to turn around and say, no, we don't want your money because you're doing something stupid. Come on, guys, we don't do that. Now they're going to be like, do you want some more, sir?
Since when have they looked out for us?
That's true.
They never look out for us. And so once all that happened, and the irony is everyone suddenly switched their mind to the meme cryptocurrency, which is Dogecoin. Okay. Now, for the people that don't know what Dogecoin is, it's a cryptocurrency that started off as a joke. It was literally, it has no developer to it. The owner doesn't give a shit about it. It's just there. And I think when it was trading at 7/10 of a cent or a penny for the Americans. And it was it's been like that for months or years. Eventually it'll go up and down because our friend Elon Musk, who's, in my opinion, probably owns 50 million Dogecoins or something like that. He sends out a tweet, it skyrockets and comes back down. Everyone has been committed to either take their money out of their trading platforms, whoever did it, or to more focus on trying to help as a community to become rich and invest in this coin. Now, this coin went up nearly 1,000%. Okay, and obviously it's not $1,000, but for something to go from 7/10 of a cent to almost, what was it? I think it was 7.5 cents. It's massive.
Massive.
Okay, especially if you put
If you put $1,000, that's $1 million.
exactly.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, 1,000 times 1,000 is $1 million. Oh wait, no, it'll be 10,000
There we go.
because it tenfolds. Yeah.
And it was just the whole world just got, the irony is this, the whole world just got together. I've never seen this before in my life, where I get it when it's a community, I get it when it's a service, but not when multiple people across multiple continents, across multiple different countries, all suddenly go, this is our agenda. Now, Dogecoin will make it clear that it is currently crashing. And also from a legal standpoint, we're not giving financial advice. We are retards. We are actually retards, and we
Shut
don't
up
know.
and buy.
So, you know what's funny about that? Do you know if you said that to someone and they bought,
took it,
they can actually sue
I
you?
know,
I only
I'm
found that out
liable.
today.
Yeah.
Well, if they do, they're stupid. If they listen to me seriously,
That's what you
no
got to say.
financial. I don't know. What do you want to call not history?
We're not professionals. We're not, don't take.
But honestly, who
any
the hell
advice
is
you need
coming
tonight.
listening to us?
We are
Financial
retards.
But
advice.
I want to pose a funny question for you guys, right? Imagine you are GameStop or the CEO of GameStop, right? And your company is going to shit. And all of a sudden, you've got billions and billions of dollars being pumped into your company. What are you doing? Do you go and buy out something and try and save what you are?
Just
That
take the
money's
money.
only going to be there for a few days,
Take the
right?
money and
just-
bankrupt. File bankruptcy.
just go bankrupt and take the money.
I don't know.
Or you know what I mean? I wonder how long between you giving $1,000, for example, to ComSec, it takes for them to get that money. You know what I mean? Is it instantly in their portfolio? The bank recognizes that there's $1,000, and if there's billions and billions of dollars being pumped into it, then do you go, hey guys, we need to use this money before like it goes? Do you know what I mean? Like, and try and do you buy more stores? Invest in something or or reinvest that money? Like
buy Amazon stock.
What would you do as the CEO of GameStop with all that money being pumped in now?
I think you sort of hit the nail on the head, which is, does that money actually go straight in for use? Now, let's say hypothetically it did, and that is actually the scenario. You wouldn't do anything. Only on the sense of, you know that people are going to pull out and you don't have the money to pay this back. Yeah, that's what I mean.
So you don't touch it.
Yeah, because you're literally just going to screw
Fuck
yourself.
company,
You're going to screw yourself
Unless
over.
they just get greedy and they go, stuff you, I'm taking the money.
You buy 1 billion yachts, and then when they want their money back, we're like, we're bankrupt.
No,
And
we all invested in it's like a pinball machine that was $50 million.
It's rare. It was made in 1980.
Like I don't know what you would do, because there was a lot of one of the stocks that actually fell into that category was BlackBerry. Now, BlackBerry, as we know, used to be a major phone provider. Now, apparently, from what I'm reading, they're actually
Making calculators.
apparently they're major in cybersecurity.
Okay.
Now, at one stage in history, we all know that BlackBerry phones were the benchmark of security.
Yeah.
So if these guys actually just focus, you know what they said, stuff the phones, we won't focus on the phones, but we're very good in cybersecurity, they might actually have a plan
like
here.
an app.
But then they came out and they said, we don't know what to do with all the interest that, like, they go, we don't know why people are investing in our company, so we don't know what to do.
Well, WhatsApp's going to share information now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Information. Didn't they just come out saying we're going to start sharing information? If that's the case, BlackBerry, you know what to do. Set up a WhatsApp or something similar to that. If you're that good at cybersecurity, I mean, that's why everyone's using WhatsApp.
It depends what type of cybersecurity that they're doing, though.
That's true.
It could be platform. It could be like they're thinking more like, I got to create a cybersecurity.
Well,
then I got to create a messaging platform. Then I got to create this. Then I got to create that.
But the whole point of BlackBerry is because their phones were what was it? They were encrypted, right?
Yeah.
So even if someone grabbed your phone, what was it? It was like a billionth in one chances that they can unlock it, or something ridiculous like that. So that's what you do. Well, even though there's already apps like that already out there, like, I don't know if that's what they're trying to figure out. But then again, yeah, I've already stuck
But do you go into a market that's already flooded with other people who have the same idea? I mean,
well, because they've already got that reputation for cybersecurity, so surely they can,
because they had
but do they have the reputation? I mean, before Fighty told me, I didn't know they were in cybersecurity.
Well, no, because I know
phones, yeah.
like BlackBerry.
No, I know with their phones, but like since their phones went away, I didn't know what they were doing now.
I didn't know until I actually looked.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, have they got their name out there for cybersecurity?
Well, apparently, again, it's only based on reading. Because BlackBerry's name only came up to me based on what's happening now. It wasn't something that's like, oh, okay, they actually did something benchmarking. It's like, holy shit! It was just more like, why are people investing in BlackBerry? And I started reading into it. I'm like, okay, they're actually almost like a cybersecurity firm now, where they're actually moving up.
Because they were dying out, so hence why they were manipulating the price to make money out of it. Wasn't that the case?
Which I didn't.
For
hear.
BlackBerry.
I didn't hear that about BlackBerry.
What is BlackBerry on that list that's getting shorted as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, like, you know how Nokia is obviously going because it's got nothing left anymore. Isn't that the same
Nokia
case for
still
BlackBerry?
builds phones, my friend.
What phones?
They built that new phone. Nokia was a. Am I misleading
think
myself
it
when it said
failed.
Lumia?
They're just not massive. Like,
Thing bought Nokia. Microsoft.
did they?
Microsoft bought Nokia.
Okay.
That's why the Nokia phone ended up running the Microsoft operating system, the Lumia.
Yeah. Microsoft's coming out everywhere.
Microsoft, mate. People seem to forget how powerful Microsoft doesn't let you come into the. Sorry, Microsoft doesn't just sit back and watch you come into the market. They let you come into the market.
That's right.
That's the way they are. And that's why Bill Gates was always up there when he invested in Apple. He earned Apple before Apple was Apple, if that makes sense. And then when he did like every little thing, even when they did Xbox and stuff like that, all the part manufacturers, he probably owns a couple percent of something. Yeah.
He probably owns Sony as well.
Yeah. He's retired, but you know.
That's another company that took a really big evolution. Like, you think of like the 80s and 90s, right? Sony was known for its sound systems and like televisions and blah blah. And your Fujitsus and stuff came around in the plasma era, and then their pretty much out of the TV.
Say
They still make.
Who's this?
Did you say Fujitsu?
Fujitsu was the best plasma TVs you could buy.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Fujitsu's were up there in there, alongside, and then Thing took over, Samsung. So Fujitsu was before Samsung became massive. Well, Samsung was already around, but Fujitsu was making the best plasma TVs at the time. But Sony's sort of still making TVs, but they're not known as their, your Samsungs. Even Hisense now is like way up there, and they just evolved to become a console platform, really.
Sony has a lot of things going for them from the sense of it's markets that you actually didn't think that they would actually do well in, if that makes sense.
Like, are we talking like like little chips and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, you got your chipsets and stuff like that, which is there again to rival that. You still have
A billion other ones.
Yeah, you got. I think Intel even absolutely destroys everyone in that sense. Sony, yeah, you got the PlayStation. Obviously, I think the PlayStation itself, and I don't quote me on this, but I think it was only 10% of their revenue. They got good cameras. We've got to keep in mind
That's
that
true.
their
They're in the
photography
camera
like they're in
thing,
the
yeah.
budget area. See, what you said about what's his name? Like how certain companies fit in certain areas in their industry. Like let's say TVs, for example. You got Hisense, you got TCL, you got JVC. They're more maybe Hisense is more high low end.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But they're gun TVs.
They are, yeah.
Like if you pay like say $1,000 for like 75-inch TV, you wouldn't say that's $1,000 TV. You'd be like, man, you think that's like a $2,000-$3,000 TV.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got your Samsung, your LG,
TLC.
and so Sony ends up at the higher end of it. That's why you probably don't see it as much. The problem with Sony is, and I don't know why you guys keep doing this. You got your TV, yeah. Then they'll attach some massive fucking black brick behind it, like it's like this big and this thick, and it's like it has to be attached to the TV for it to work. It's like, man, like I get it, like it's where everything is. That's why the TV is this thin. But
aesthetically,
it aesthetically looks like shit.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and then people go, oh, well, why didn't they buy it? Why? It looks like shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather pay the TV's this big and go, you know what? It's a Samsung. My phone connects to everything connects to it like this.
yeah.
So, but
But I wouldn't personally wouldn't put LG and Samsung in the same category.
who would you put higher?
Bro, I think that Samsung is just up there. I would put Hisense before LG.
No. See, I like LG.
I do too.
I like it.
'Cause
Why
I've
do
never
you
had
like
complaints.
LG?
Okay, where they came from. Okay.
Are you being
so
racist
no. I'm going to be really open with this, right? So LG is really smart with how they market themselves to retailers. Okay. So I'll give you a very simple thing. Samsung we know is elite, right? If you go to Harvey Norman, the video that they put on the LG TVs is a higher quality than the ones they put on Samsung, right? This is known. If you ask anyone who works in
I'm
retail
sure it
stores,
is,
right?
yeah.
The way that they show and represent their TVs in store, it seems to be better than Samsung. But in reality, when you bring them home and you compare Samsung and LG, bro, there's a world of difference, right? Where my dad's been... if you know my dad, he just has the best of everything, right? He doesn't compromise for quality. It doesn't matter how much it costs. He stepped down from a Samsung to a Hisense, and he personally believes that the Hisense quality is just as good as the Samsung one.
Yeah.
Maybe not build quality, but visually how it looks. And if you compare the Hisense, what has he got, like a 70-inch to the LG 70-inch, there's a massive difference. And like, it's just the advertising LG does is way higher than Samsung does. What they give to their retail stores, they're represented as better. And the thing is, the reason why Harvey Norman puts on the better, for example, videos for the LG is because they make a way bigger profit margin on their LGs.
Yeah.
So, in personal opinion, I don't think LG is up there with Samsung. I think Samsung's on its own level.
See, the thing about that is because, see, Hisense will create a TV. Does that make sense? And it's done. So they had the I can't remember. It's NP5. It was something, but it was considered like, it was like $800-900 at the time. And I remember this. And I actually went to Harvey Norman and I was sitting there. I'm like, man, I would genuinely look at this TV. If you didn't tell me your cost price, and based on what I'm seeing here, I'd say that it's probably like a $3,000-4,000 TV.
But I don't think Hisense is that cheap anymore, bro.
No, this was...
before.
Yeah, this was
Before
a while
they made
ago.
the
This was
market,
like
yeah.
when they started to become up and up. And I was like, holy crap, like I genuinely want to put it. And this was when the times when I genuinely would go, but who's gonna buy a Hisense TV? Like that was around those times. But what Samsung and LG have going for them is they have a TV that's going to verse Hisense, and then they will destroy Hisense with their high end. Like when you go up against, say, like, so you got your LG normal 4K TV that you see at JB Hi-Fi on a stand, yeah? You got a 65 inch. But then you got a 65 inch OLED LG, which is $2,000-$3,000 more than your standard price. There's no comparing the photo.
Yeah.
There literally is. But does a $3,000 difference justify that hectic pixel that you see on the guy's face? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you really are in for that type of stuff, then fair enough.
Just looking at prices, the Hisense is higher than the LG.
How much is it now? But that's what I'm saying. Which LG are we looking at?
Yeah, well, I don't have the time to go through, but just generally looking, your LGs are like almost half the price of a Hisense. So they're no longer that bottom of the market anymore. They're up there. They're trying to compete with Samsung.
That's good.
Yeah.
The more competition in the market, the more it's better for the consumer.
That's definitely right.
Because besides the big four, let's add Hisense into it now. Unless I'm missing someone. Who do you have? You got
TLC.
Is TLC up there?
TCL is
TCL,
what Hisense
whatever.
used to be at the beginning.
Okay.
No, you know what Samsung? No, wait.
Huh?
From what I know, it's TCL or TLC, whatever it is.
TCL.
Used to be the guy that used to work with Samsung, and then he said, "You know what? Stuff you guys. I'll set up my own guy."
I don't know the full backstory to it, but from a level of, say, televisions and stuff like that, I would put TCL more as like an entry sort of, you know.
Up there with your Kogans and stuff, right?
I wouldn't put Kogan into a bracket, to be honest.
Yeah, I know, but like...
Kogan is more I'm going to uni and I need a TV in my dorm room.
But that's what I see TCL as, to be honest.
But that's what I'm saying. But TCL is more entry level.
I finished uni.
I finished uni and now I can buy a 40-inch TV.
But where TVs have come, right? I was just looking at the Hisense just for
How
prices.
do we get onto TVs?
I was just thinking that.
we were talking about how...
I'm like, well...
Keep going.
We're talking about how technology has changed and how these companies have adapted. But what's it called? How much TVs have come while we're on the topic? I remember the 40-inch plasma TVs, bro. They were like 20 grand. We're talking 40 inches. You know, I think they came out at like over 20 grand, 22, 24 grand. Now you get a 100-inch, like 4K for like 13, 14 grand. Like, it's ridiculous how far they've come.
I saw one, I think it was at Harvey Norman. You know, they just have random display ones. It was that 8K television.
Yeah.
It was like Samsung's new 80-inch this. I'm like, but I have to give them credit. Like the picture's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I'm like sitting like this close to the TV. I'm like, yeah, you can't see anything. Like, I'm one of those guys. But 9 grand.
Yeah, and there's no 8K market yet.
That's why a lot of people don't understand. It's like, oh, I own an 8K television. Great.
Yeah,
So
what are you playing on there?
What do you watch? I watch 1080p stuff and it looks like shit.
And it's going to be like, why does this guy's face look like it's stretched like he has Botox? Like, I love how people don't understand that concept to it. And even like when it comes to gaming consoles, playing at 4K, the system itself, if you play a game at 4K and it's at 30 frames per second, that guy's going...
Yeah.
Like, you can genuinely see how shit it is.
Yeah.
Because when I bought my TV, I didn't even look into that. I just said I wanted the biggest TV I could get at the cheapest price. That's what I got.
And you went, come here, sir. TCL.
No, I got LG. But, bigger the better.
So going back to GameStop.
No, we were actually talking about
BlackBerry.
BlackBerry. Yeah.
So BlackBerry was on the list along with AMC, which is an entertainment network. If I remember correctly, you got your Walking Deads and your Breaking Bads and stuff like that. It's everyone's trying to short these.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Does that just come down?
Yeah. Oh my god.
When everyone try to short these stocks and you close them, like I'll ask for you, like your guys' opinions on this. If what the hedge funds do on a normal basis, the average person does back to them is considered illegal, or is considered frowned upon, whether to the point where MSNBC, which you're all fuckwits by the way, gets involved and starts having a go at the average person, do you think that it's wrong?
No.
I fucking know if it's wrong.
We've got a 50-50.
Wait. You're asking,
No, I know. I think we're
is
both
it wrong
agreeing.
of them to stop normal people doing to them what they usually do to normal people?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Fucking oath it is. Because, bro, all of a sudden, the banks are saying, oh, we're looking after your interest, right? And we don't want you to buy stocks because you're going to lose out of this. Bro, since when have they cared?
Yeah.
It's bro, look, when you go into the share market, you understand that there are really influential figures, right? People who have billions and billions and billions of dollars who can easily manipulate what the market is. You're already going into an unfair market, and then all of a sudden the odds are on your side, and you want to stop people from, making that money that they can be making. Like, it's not fair that these hedge funds. Look, the most perfect example is Christian Bale in the Big Short.
The Big Short, yeah.
How he makes so much money, but he's made this money on people's losses, right? And you can see the guilt that he has. Yeah, right. He's like, man, I just made this much money, but there's people at home who are like committing suicide because they've lost so much money, and there's people out of homes. If they're allowed to make money on people's fuck ups, right? Why can't people make money off their fuck ups?
That's right.
I think what they will argue is like, oh, as soon as they get a smell of us, doing it, they're gonna, manipulate the market. Dude, you do that every single time.
Every day.
Exactly.
What do you mean every single time?
That's right. You have so much pull, and all of a sudden you've got the whole world uniting against you. And bro, let's be honest, he doesn't have all his money in GameStop. There's just a significant amount there that's getting fucked. This guy is not going to be bankrupt if he loses on this transaction. People lose on transactions all the time. Bro, you know what? The share market, if I can have a little bit of a rant here, is unfair to begin with. You know why?
Scam.
You make money on a stock, and the government taxes you on capital gains tax, right? They don't give you money back when you lose. You know what I mean?
Back.
Yeah, like you win and you lose.
You can't
you
write
lose
it
and
off.
you lose. Like it's already an unfair thing. So it's absolutely bullshit that they can pull moves where you can't buy stocks and stuff like that.
It's not a matter of whether it's fair or not that the average Joe is getting a chance to get a dig at these bankers or these hedge fund guys. It's what it really proves to me is the fact that this whole trading or this share market is a scam, in the sense that
it is a scam.
Like, bro, like you mentioned. I mean, your point. I mean, you said if I lose, I don't pay. I don't get reimbursed for money that I paid tax on for that share that I bought or I made money, or not only that. Look how easy. Look, you can see how easy it was to manipulate. Now everyone's doing it. So it's just showing you how stupid this is. You know what I mean?
It's going to be a start to something that happens now. Like, as soon as something comes out... Bro, we're talking about this as well. Like, the hedge fund has completely lost, and everyone who's invested has won. Bro, there's going to be people who bought this share who's going to get fucked big time too.
Yeah, there was... Because I was on Reddit, and I was just reading just what people are saying. Most of them is, to the moon! And... But some people are like, you know what? Like, this whole trading thing has genuinely fucked me. Because other shares have suffered significantly because all the attention has been on this stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where people are like, we did something good, we didn't get an investment.
Because you know what people are doing, bro? He's at his max cap of what he can invest. He's got, for example, $10,000 in Apple, for example. And he's like, I'm going to pull out of Apple and buy this stock. So you're fucking every other stock to try and get in on this market. Bro, let's be all honest, right? This is for a good cause. Let's fuck the hedge funds, right? Let's say... a week ago, you bought that stock for $20, right? It's now at 340 or whatever it is. It's even higher, 410 pre-market at the moment or whatever it is, right? Those people who initially got in because they were like, oh, we're going to help the universe, bro, they've already sold out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
They've already sold. So the people who've gone in now and gone, hey, man, this guy's doing a good thing. I'm going to help him. They're going to get fucked. When this stock eventually drops back to $5 and they've bought it at $340, man, you've made a massive loss.
And not only that, it's a trend now. So you've got the other idiots that are saying, oh, this is my chance to make a quick few bucks. So now what's going to happen, I'm sure you guys will agree, is you're going to have these guys that have no experience, that have no knowledge of how the market works or how trading works with shares. They're going to jump in, go, all right, I'm going to put 50 grand. If I make another 50 grand, I'm done. You know what I mean? And then what happens? What if...
that 50 grand turns into $3?
That's right. Or eventually that peak is going to go down. What if they miss it? You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Like, there's so many loopholes to this where I think a lot of people, especially even with how that issue happened and everyone went to the Dogecoin pump the money sort of avenue. Everyone just saw it as, this is my avenue of this is my time to make my wealth now.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's more like I have, like most people on there, like even me, like, yeah, I probably from a stock market point of view, I was learning as I was going. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It was more like, I wasn't like investing and what did I just do? It was just more like, okay, this is like, it says order. What's an order position? And it's like, okay, what's an order position? Okay, that's what that means. And it's like, most of the people just went, order position, yeah, I want 100. What am I getting 100 of? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like everyone
Yeah,
just,
that's
everyone,
right. Yeah.
with no knowledge.
Yeah.
Even like with the cryptocurrency, everyone's just pumping money.
Yeah,
Everyone's like,
everyone's saying like, I saw, you know what's funny? I saw a ad on the bus saying, he goes, if you see Bitcoin being advertised on the bus, then you know it's time to buy. In the sense that it's like, now it's legit. Like, even though it's too late, like everyone's onto this trend now. I mean, it's no surprise, but even though it's now being advertised that Bitcoin is, I don't know, can you call it legit?
Bitcoin, I would call it the most legit of the currencies.
Of the
Other
illegitimacy.
cryptos, yeah.
Of the currencies, yeah.
But
probably
yeah,
call
like it
because
makes
you can actually purchase with Bitcoin.
That's right, but it makes you think like now they're advertising Bitcoin because they want to sell it or they're going to make money off it. So it's like, I don't know, this whole GameStop, let's bankrupt hedge fund manager things is more of a wake up call for everyone. I don't know whether we change how this world works, which I doubt because there's too much money involved in what's going on to change, or I think it's
it can't
too
be
drastic. Yeah, like too much things. External factors would be what do you call it? Would change.
Well, literally, what we're
be
talking about
affected.
is the definition of capitalism.
That's right. That's
I'm
right.
making
Yeah.
money based on someone else's fucking demise, pretty much. That's literally what
Yeah,
it is.
it is.
Whether it's I'm buying stock to boost a company to destroy another company,
That's right.
and I'm going to increase their company, or I'm going to short someone, or someone's going to short your short, or they're going to short your short. So like, I love that scene where it's in The Big Short again, that blackjack scene, where you bet against someone, and then someone bets on their bet, and then someone bets on their bets,
and then it all falls apart.
yeah, and then everyone just loses
Hey,
their
that's
shit.
a brilliant film. If I could recommend a film to
Yeah.
explain what's going on right now, Big Short would explain it properly, and it's inspired through true events. If I'm not mistaken.
And the irony is, a lot of people refer to that to the 2008 financial crisis right now, which
Yeah.
is the reason why that happened is because of the banks and the hedge fund guys who
That's
pretty much
right.
destroyed.
Those scums.
They were, yeah, you can watch the movie and understand. It's too deep to get into it. And they're going, well, you guys fucked over everyone then. Now it's our turn to stuff over you guys.
Yeah.
But not even that. They fucked everyone and they got bailed out by the government. You
See-
know, which is even worse. Like, it burns because they knew they were going to lose and they knew they were going to get bailed out. That's why they took the risk and jacked everyone.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, like when Emin was saying that it probably won't hit him. From what I've read, so the people that are affected, it's Melvin or even your name's fucking shit, Melvin. Like, it's a Melvin group or something like that.
Wow.
And
Take a shot at the guy's name.
fuck him.
My mom named me
He was
that.
the guy, the owner of the hedge fund, and it's like I think they got a $2 or $3 billion loan because of what was happening, and even if everything goes to shit for them, none's right. They're just gonna apply for a fucking bailout, and they'll get it.
And
Why?
they'll
Because
probably get it. That's
because
what's up.
the government is not going to let $1 billion hedge fund go to bankruptcy. They'll say, hey, okay, you need $5 billion. Here's a $5 billion loan.
Reserve Bank coming out.
Yeah, Reserve Bank,
Yep.
Mr. Rothschild,
Start
and he's going to go, hello.
Yeah, keep printing money. Because you know what? In the end, ultimately, I feel whether this is a what do you call it? Not a premonition, but what's that? Anyways, what I think will happen in the future.
Insight.
A prediction.
A prediction, yes. Sorry. A prediction. I think the world's going to go to shit. Like, you know how 2008 really didn't affect us? Well, the financial crisis in America didn't affect Australia.
It sort of did. We were just too young to be affected by it.
I think I'm sort of maybe in the middle of both you guys there, where Australia didn't feel it as much as America,
yeah.
but people in Australia felt
Interesting
it.
fact: Labor and Liberal. There were I saw a comparison in terms of how both parties managed when they were in government, and they managed how each other's economic what do you call it? Economic policies. Who was better in running whatever they had to for the country? Would you take a guess?
Labor.
Yes.
Oh, sorry,
Labor.
Liberal.
Yeah,
Labor.
Liberals usually.
Labor's track record was actually better than Liberals.
Yeah,
in
but
terms of what are we comparing here?
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
are you talking about the 2008 financial
No.
crisis?
Through the periods of government
Different
that those two
financial
parties
crises?
were in. So when Labor was in government, they were said in comparison they were run the economy better than actual Liberal
That's
Party
really
was.
interesting because if you look at like national debt, from just the top of my head, not throwing figures, I think
Labor's
every
a
time
spender.
Labor comes in, they spend.
Yeah, that's the way I
And,
understand
and
it.
Liberals try and like
I actually thought
unspend.
about that too. That's correct. But see, from unspending, they actually, I think it was not John Howard. Who was it before John Howard? Oh, sorry, after John Howard.
Kevin
Someone tried to stop spending on a certain industry, and what ended up happening, it backfired on them, and they actually stuffed that industry up a lot worse than what it was.
After John Howard was Kevin Rudd.
Kevin
was
Rudd,
Labor.
Liberal? Labor, yeah, he was
He was
Labor.
the-
Yeah.
He was the one that
Saved the country with that stimulus. That 800. What was
I
it?
don't think that- I don't
$800,
think that
$100.
saved- That didn't save anything.
It did
It
nothing.
did, bro.
It was good when I got it.
going.
I didn't
it
even
was
get
shit
it.
I didn't
on
get
one.
it. Yeah.
I didn't get it.
I got it. It was good back then, but that did nothing. Like it, the idea was it to boost the economy, but it had no contingency for that person to use that money.
Do you know why? Because they got $1,000 or whatever it was, $1,200, right? It either went into eBay and buying international stuff, or the guy bought 4 bags, and it went to drug dealers.
4
This was
bags of
2008.
Nike
This was
bags from
2000
Rebel Sport.
This was 2008, so it would have been 5 bags.
But yeah, like it just went to like illegal ways of spending
Yeah,
the
yeah.
money, and it never circulated. So
The economy was down, so maybe 6 bags.
But coming back to my point, sorry, Fadi.
No, go.
I'll let you go. I'll finish this off. I think prediction wise, I think we're in turn for a big like 2008 financial crisis is going to be nothing compared to what's coming.
Well,
in my opinion.
look, it follows a 10-year pattern roughly, right? On average, every 10 years, you get a crash on the share market. If COVID didn't crash it that bad,
But see, everyone
then it's due, bro. It's
respected
got to happen.
financial guys or financial whatever you want to call it are actually saying that COVID is sparking this. So like, let COVID go after COVID's not done and finished, but once it's normalized to a decent point, that's when we're going to feel the full effect.
But you got to keep this in mind as well. And a lot of people forget this. When coronavirus happened, a lot of things went on hold. Do you know what I mean? Your housing payments,
Because everything
your
got
rental
deferred.
payment, like rental payments for like say
Yeah.
big companies and stuff like that. That's all coming to an end shortly.
Yeah.
Like I think,
Yeah.
or is it in Australia? It's the housing payments is March.
Nah,
or
finished. I was deferred and I paid off my truck. Thank God.
Housing.
But still, it was a loan.
He
Loans
lives in his
alone.
truck. That's his house.
It's like, yeah, what are you talking about? Housing. Now, so, and you know what's the funny thing is, like, I heard this conversation a few times, and I think it was you that told me, because again, I'm not a homeowner. It was when it was when those loans were on hold, the interest still accumulates, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people do not know that.
Yeah.
Like you would be surprised of how many people have come up to me and said, "Oh, my mortgage payments are on hold. You know, at least it's not something I need to worry about." I'm like, man, you should pay attention to how much you're gonna freaking pay and how much is
it adds
accumulated
up,
over the
yeah.
years
Yeah.
since you haven't been getting paid. And not only that, when JobKeeper finishes, okay, and not everywhere has gone back to normal, people are gonna start looking at their bottom lines at June or end of June when the financial year runs out. Where did we end up here now? They're going to go,
Yeah.
we're in the fucking red. There's no more JobKeeper. What happens?
And unemployment's up like 15% or whatever. We're going to start
That's
to feel
right.
it.
I think a lot of people were safe from the sense of, yeah, okay, coronavirus happened, but our tourism sector's dead. It doesn't exist. Right this moment, it doesn't exist.
Even nationally, it doesn't
Na-
exist.
nationally, in my personal opinion, they're fucking up. They have a golden opportunity right now to
to do something.
But they can't because states keep closing borders, bro. We
I
get
know.
5 cases in New South
That's what
Wales
I'm
and
saying.
Queensland's like, nah, no more people.
Like I'm referring from the top down, not from the people. Like I'll get to the people,
Yeah,
but
those
like from the
selfish
top.
fucking leaders, those idiots. No,
Yeah.
because coming back to my point, last week I think I apologize. I think I had a bit of a dig at you, not intentionally, but it was the whole COVID, and I think it was talking about me not worrying about death or being held hostage by Corona, if that makes sense. Which is the case, cuz I mean the whole world's being held hostage by the virus. Now it's like you look at it, we're not even calculating deaths, we're calculating how many people are getting sick now, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Because when you watch the news or when you go to look at figures, you don't even see deaths anymore. It's we had 2 people or 2 transmissions of the COVID disease, and now they're being fixed out. They're in quarantine. It's being fixed. You know what I mean?
I think that's more Australian media, though. I agree with you from the sense that they don't announce the deaths because it just feels like, oh, you got 1,000 cases, and then that number 1,000 just suddenly in your mind goes, fuck, there's 1,000 people are going to die. Like, do you know what I mean? Like your brain,
Potentially.
But they don't.
your brain just jumps to that. Like, man, what about 500 of those people die? What if I end up one of being like? I agree with you from
Yeah,
that
but like
sense.
that's coming to my point where it's like, who was it? Who made the point of obviously gaining the momentum of, you know, nationally, because Australia, we can be sufficient within ourselves to look after ourselves, in the sense where it's like, bro, we have a beautiful country, Australia. Like, surely we can travel around, you know, up and down Brisbane and Melbourne, but that's not the case because now Brisbane's like, oh, just lifting the ban now, which I didn't even know. I thought the ban was gone, finished, but now they've actually.
If you're from the Cumberland district, you're not allowed to go
Yeah,
there.
which is ridiculous.
I completely look in terms of tourism. We're making a lot of mistakes like this, right? My uncle went for a road trip down to South Australia, but I didn't know South Australia had such beautiful beaches. Like, we don't know what's in
Yeah,
our backyard,
that's
dude.
right.
Like, there used to be like, remember those commercials in like the 2000s? Where else but Queensland? And all they'd show you is like the Gold Coast. Bro, there's more to Queensland than
Gold
the
Coast
Gold
Beach
Coast.
and theme park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's more to Queensland. Like, inform your people about what we actually have in our back. Like, Inan and I go to a beach called The Farm. It's down in the South Coast. Bro, it is legit one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever been to.
Yeah,
No one knows about it.
Why would you say
my-
that, Eamon?
my-
Now 50 people.
Now our 4 listeners are going to show up. We're going to have to sign autographs. We don't want to be interrupted there.
I just want to swim.
swim in peace now.
My question is, how did you find out about that place?
We bought a surfboard off a guy, and we happened to buy it on the South Coast. We didn't want to drive back to Sydney to surf, and we were like, "Is there anywhere around here to surf?" And the guy told us about it. Happens, my dad actually went there when he was a kid, but it's just one of those places you go to once and you never think about again. But yeah, like, bro, all right, like you see advertisements for Sydney, and you see Opera House, Harbour Bridge, like, bro, let's see what beautiful places we have in the Central Coast, which is only an hour drive from Sydney. Or like, you know what I mean? Let's talk about when, for example, when you go to Turkey, right? If you got off at the airport and only went around a 10 minute radius, bro, you're missing out on most of Izmir.
You just see soldiers.
pretty much. Like, when you go to the nice places in Izmir, bro, they're all like 40 minutes, an hour out from, you know, like CBD Izmir. And people know about these places because it's either like tourism places or blah, blah. It's just become a word of mouth. In Australia, we have such beautiful coastline, bro.
Yeah.
I follow this lady on Instagram. Shout out to Sarah Biden. They've got like a 4-wheel drive and they do road trips every weekend.
Yeah, everyone's
bro,
doing that.
the rock pools that they swim in, bro, if it
Yeah.
was in Europe, they'd be charging like $50 a head to get in them.
You know Matt Cooper, yeah? The footy player.
The Dragons player?
Yeah, him. He shut up shop or whatever he was doing. He bought a camper van, and him and his family, they just go holidaying.
Yeah, there's a
Literally
massive...
traveling around
yeah.
Australia, cause the places he goes to is like these little mountain peaks. He goes through these little tight rock spaces, and they end up in this lagoon. Beautiful lagoon with his daughters. And I'm just like, bro, that's life. Me not going to work, you know, working 10, 11 hours a day for like a chump change, and then, you know, having to come home and be tired and
Come
grumpy.
home to people, my family.
And then you have 2 days off, which you make 4 hours aside for to go to like some mediocre beach with 1 billion people in
Yeah,
it.
and you got to spend it with your wife
Yeah,
and these
I know.
children.
Yuck.
Bloody hell, man.
No, look, I agree with you. And like it starts off from the top and it goes all the way to the bottom. And also the one massive factor that hurts us, and again, this is in my personal opinion, there needs to be like something we need to find a way for this. It's the price, man.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, it's so expensive.
When I think about it, and I'll say let's just say me and my wife. Okay, no kid, no nothing, just me and my wife, just to go to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
That it's cheaper. That's what I mean. It's cheaper for me to fly to Thailand.
Yeah.
And have a better experience there.
Do you know why, Bart? If you went to put the price down, right? Let's give an example of Centrepoint Tower, right? What is it, $80 to get up there or whatever? If you said to the guys working there, look, man, we're currently paying you $30 an hour. Yeah. If we could drop your rate to $20, we'd get more tourism. Everyone's going to be like, nah, fuck that. I don't give a shit.
I agree with you. And that's why
because our labor's so expensive.
Our labor is very expensive.
Whereas the people in Thailand, the guy who's working at the airport was working for $15 a day. Like,
you know what? But surely, like, I'm
getting a lot more stuff, bro.
I'm going to use the Centrepoint Tower as an example. 100% that's paid off. Okay, 100%.
Yeah, every time you go there, you're just paying for the electricity bills. That's it.
Pretty much. Like, who's gonna pay $80 to go to the top of a tower that I can't do anything on besides a shitty glass that I can't even go on properly? To go into a shit restaurant, to overpay for food that tastes like shit.
Yep. And the serving's the size of a pea.
And then come back down.
Yeah, I know.
Like me, for example, when I went to Dubai, okay, you got the Burj Al Arab, which is currently the highest tower in the world, or highest building in the world. You go up there, and it's like mad. I know I'm going up there for the view. Like, that's literally what you're paying for. I know I'm going up there to see everything. I go up to the Centrepoint Tower to look up at other buildings.
Yeah.
Like,
we talked about this, yeah.
It's nothing.
It's not an $80 view.
Yeah.
Bro, it's not a $10 view.
That's what I'm saying. You're not getting...
Because it should be free.
Yeah.
It should be.
Bro, there should be things like that are free. Or you know what? Adopt what Europe has done. You get this card, right? Yeah. You buy it one-off, and then you can go to all these places that are included in that thing. So you're paying a one-off fee, and then, dude, if you use it to the best of your abilities, then you use it. If not, then you're just wasting your money. But you don't have to keep paying at these places.
Because the only dilemma with that is the fact that Europe gets a lot more people than Australia does.
That's true.
The only problem.
That's true.
But that comes down to what we were discussing on.
We don't have anything for them to come for.
Because no one's willing to go 10, 11, or like 20 hours to come to Australia. You know what I mean?
There is actually, because, bro, if you're on TikTok and stuff like that, just going off by Americans, they're genuinely interested to come here, right? Yeah, bro. Like, Americans love Australia. The thing is, price. Bro, why would you come to Australia when you can fly 3 hours less, go to Bali and get a 5-star experience?
Exactly.
Right?
Well, that's what I mean. America's got Mexico, because I did the 22-hour flight to Mexico. Best holiday I ever had for my honeymoon. Best. Would recommend it without a doubt. It's pretty much like Thailand on steroids, but they're not Asian. You know what I mean?
And you eat burritos.
And there's a lot of cocaine. But nah, like, getting to my point, because it was a beautiful country. Like, and all the tourists that were in the resort that I was staying at were all American. So it was like America's Bali, you know what I mean, compared to Australia's Bali. Yeah. Obviously, putting in comparison. But the point I'm trying to make is Australia's just too far. We're limited.
Yeah, but I think this also comes
But New Zealand gets them.
Because New Zealand's got the
Lord
of Rings, bro.
It comes down to what we talked about in the engineering episode.
That's right.
We don't have like people to give a shit about, if that makes sense. Our major thing is what Eamon just said. You come to Sydney, what's the main thing that you see as soon as you come out of the airport?
Bro, our fault is not, it's not international, the fault. Our fault is nationally, because what do you know about WA that is, bro, WA is beautiful. But I couldn't name one beach off the top of my head where it's like, man, we should go and check that place out.
Perth Beach.
I was about to say that.
I don't even know if that exists.
We have Bondi, and that's the only beach that exists in Australia.
It's covered full of...
And you swim with flesh. You're swimming in flesh of people.
You know what I reckon they sort of fucked up on as well? So, you know that government's handing out those gift vouchers to people to go and use? Do you guys know?
No, I don't.
Really?
What gift vouchers?
So the coronavirus, to boost the economy, they're giving out $100 gift vouchers that's going to come out through the Service New South Wales app.
They don't do a good enough job of letting us know about this.
So they're giving, so you get $50 to go use it at pretty much any restaurant. It's calculated,
Okay.
or I think there's a list of restaurants that you
I
can
think
use it
they're
at,
$50.
and I think there's another $50 that you can go and use it on activities. So it's like if you wanted to go bowling, or if you like certain,
See, that's another limit of Australia. There's nothing to do in this country.
which is what I'm leading to now.
Sorry.
So why wouldn't you, in my personal opinion, okay, go, you know what, you can use 50 here and 50 there, or we're giving you $300 and there's a few restaurants in the rural areas that you can go to.
Yeah, Hunter Valley and that.
You're going to, like, why not push people out
Do you
that
know
way?
why? Because, bro, honestly, the way that the system is built is they don't want those rural communities to exist.
No, they don't.
They want them to come into the cities,
Yeah.
right? But then you're like, hey, man, we don't produce anything. The one thing we have going for us is our farming, because one thing we export is fruit and blah, blah, and we have a surplus of it because our population is not that high. You want to pull those people out, where are you going to get your wool from? Where are you going to get your beef, your lamb from that we export? Like, I understand where you're coming from, but they don't want that.
But even like to a point where it's like, okay, what are we looking at? Say Newcastle or Central Coast or something. Like, do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's like, hey, use it in the CBD. Like, force everyone into the CBD. And you wonder why, like, Australia stuffs up and shit like that. It's because people come here and it's like, well, you can't do that. Well, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can do this, but only to this time.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. That's why people opt to go, hey, give me the money and go somewhere else about it.
Yeah.
How do we get to Australian tourism?
Should we change topics? I was going to say.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we got to here. You know,
Yo.
McGregor,
Yes. What a sweet day.
You've
What a
been-
sweet week.
you've been waiting for this.
No,
What'd you rate Conor fight?
I haven't been waiting for this. I've been always saying McGregor is nothing special. Look, yeah, he's got the left hand. Bro, if I fought guys half my size, I'd be knocking them out too.
I don't know.
Come on, bro. But you know what I mean? You get what I'm saying.
Are you bashing 12-year-olds, you know?
Bro, that's what he was doing. Because if you look in size comparison to the guys he was fighting in the 145 division, bro, they were nothing compared to him. Yeah, he was doing the hard work to lose that weight. Don't get me wrong. Admire that completely. Because losing weight is a hard thing. It's not easy.
Max Holloway's his size and weight.
But
Is he?
His size,
what are
I
they
reckon, is
losing,
taller.
10 pounds?
145, 10 pounds, yeah.
So how much is 10 pounds in kilos?
Isn't it 5 kilos? 6
Yeah,
kilos?
about
Something
5,
like
6
Look,
that.
it's a
kilos.
little bit of weight loss and not drinking for a day. Because
But
at the
you-
fight, they're not 145.
But
Yeah, that's right.
you can clearly see the
Because
effect that he has on him.
Because you see McGregor.
Oh, I'm
he
not
looks
saying
like
that
a
it's
meth addict.
easier.
No, look, I'm agreeing with you guys. Like, he looks like a junkie when he's
Yeah,
doing
bro.
145.
But
That's because he hasn't drank water in 3 days.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
because it's hate to say, well, I know people are gonna agree with me, or I know people hate me saying this, but he got exposed. He can't compete with the 155ers. Dustin Poirier, I don't even rate him. His boxing is decent. Like,
I
you
don't
know
know,
what I
man.
mean?
He looked on form in that fight, man.
Nah, he just came in with a game plan, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that was his job. He came in and he goes, you know what? Look, think about it. The leg kicks.
Yeah.
No one. That's not a game plan. I mean, so that's not just expertise. That's a game plan. Go
Yeah.
for his leg. If
Yeah.
like his coach came out and said, "Hey, where does he get all his power from? When you punch, where does it come from?
His
You-
legs.
From his legs,
It comes
yeah.
from your legs."
But this is what I was saying to you. I think off air, you guys are talking like who comes up with a calf kick. Bro, I thought it's general knowledge that if you're a upper body striker, you take out the legs.
That's
you
right.
take out the body. It's just, bro, he was either gonna take the game to the ground, right? Which he didn't have that game anyway, in my personal opinion. I don't know him as well as you guys do. Or he was gonna smash the body or smash the legs. And he came out, and once he realized that he can take a punch, bro, he was getting hooked, and he was still getting that leg kick off. Like, there's a couple times he was getting hit. He's like, nah, I'm still going to get this leg kick in. And you could see that Conor wasn't standing right after a while.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about Conor?
This is not what he's cracked up to be.
No,
Yeah.
check a
He's
fucking...
an entertainer.
Now, he
Honestly,
goes, now, he even
at
said,
best.
he goes, I thought I was checking it. He goes dead set. He goes, I genuinely thought I was checking
He
it.
checked
he
it
goes,
once.
He goes, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
You know what it felt like? It felt like Cormier. You know when Cormier goes, when that fight against Miocic, when he's getting punched in the liver and like punching that body, and he's like, he goes, I was taking it. He goes, but that one punch after 15, he goes, then I felt all 15 at once.
Now, look, here's a big admitting thing. When Inan and I were doing MMA, we would spar like crazy, like to the point where we wanted to knock each other out. There was this one night that I copped a lot of body punches from Inan, and bro, he could jab me, and I couldn't take it anymore. Like, there's only so much you can take.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. But when McGregor, I think, was in the post-match interview, or not the when they speak after
conference?
the post, yeah, that's the one.
Post-
Post-match interview with Jurgen Klopp. He was saying, he goes because I believe they're both southpaws. We weren't expecting an inside calf kick. He goes usually don't expect that. He goes in that type of fight. He goes, but you know what I noticed about him? You know when he came out, there was none of that flair.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
McGregor?
He looked nervous. He genuinely looked.
I didn't see
Because you know
that.
what's funny? If you look at his fights, okay, when he came out against Aldo, what did he do? On the floor, spider. This when he came out against Eddie Alvarez, same thing. Nate Diaz, same thing. Even in the Donald Cerrone fight, like we're talking about humble McGregor here. He came out. He's full, come out thing. In this one, I've only seen him do this once in my life. He's standing around and he went like that just before the fight, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's not humbleness, it's a lack of confidence.
I went.
Because he knows he's a joke.
No, because I reckon when he actually got in that ring and he went, I think I'm versing someone that's a bit hard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like everyone went to, he versed Donald Cerrone and he goes, I'm back. Bro, the guy's is
That's what I mean.
His chin's like glass at the moment. I feel bad for the guy. The guy's from like 50 fights. He's almost going to retire. And it's like, McGregor's back. That was just a pre-fight. But Poirier's been through wars. He beat Gaethje. He went through that war with Hooker. He beat Hooker, didn't he, through decision?
Yes, man. Yeah.
And he destroyed who? Did he beat Ferguson? No, he beat someone else. No, he beat Holloway. Do you know what I mean? Like, all these fights, and this guy's won them, and then they're going, McGregor's just going to come in and knock him out. In my personal opinion, I think if Max Holloway and McGregor fought, whether it's at 145 or even 155, I think Holloway's walking away with it.
Yeah, look, I work with a lot of McGregor fans, and some of their arguments was...
He was
McGregor, no, he hasn't had enough fights recently, blah blah. So he wasn't conditioned as Poirier was.
Up.
What's your opinion?
I have to. For me personally, I'll let you know. Go after
A bit of both. I don't think he was. It was different McGregor. It wasn't McGregor. You know, the spontaneous, the flashy, the guy comes in, the entertaining,
spinning kick,
that confident thing. I think it was a bit of both. I think he was overly confident. Maybe the nerves kicked in once he walked in. I don't know. I didn't really analyze that. But, bro, to be honest, I've never rated McGregor as a fighter. Now, I know my bias for McGregor, because I don't like him. I know there's a bias there, but I really don't rate him. I don't.
Bro,
in what sense, though?
Yeah, that's a big call.
No, in terms his skill.
Based on what skill?
Bro,
as a mixed,
bro,
as a completed mixed martial artist. Yes. Okay, that's fair enough.
But I don't think he sees himself or prides himself on being a complete MMA fighter.
Yeah, he does. He said it himself. Because quote for quote, I'm a martial artist.
He has to say that because he's fighting in the
UFC. Of course, because if he's going to say that, he's got
we all know he's got like zero groundwork. He's a stand-up fighter. That's all he's got.
Yeah. Would you say that Khabib is an all-round fighter? He's not.
I don't think his stand-up game's up there with some of them.
He knocked down McGregor, didn't he? That's it. Enough said.
You know what's
Enough
funny?
said.
I came across that video again of Daniel Cormier deanalyzing or deconstructing the word, deconstructing that punch.
Yep.
Holy shit! Like that guy, the way he explained it, I'm like, holy crap! Like to the point where Khabib, like you don't see it until someone tells you.
Yeah.
Of how the way he put his head down. So McGregor thought he was going for a takedown, and he goes,
and then he got up.
I love, but that moment when he goes, as you can see here, and it's like they point to McGregor's eyes, and he looks down like that, going for the takedown, and that hand was coming up. That's just amazing. Like that was just a Khabib side note, but like
because to put in comparison, Khabib, guy's a village guy. All he does is punch on with people. Like from what I understand,
that's what villagers do
in Dagestan, because they're brutal. It's not this bullshit like, here in the area where it's like a couple of boys jump one guy and they think they're top shit, They think they're street fighters. Because this guy has been fighting for his life, like literally. Like, they'd be not like, throw a few fists. These guys wrestle for fun. You know what I mean? This is a different brand of people compared to what McGregor, because I've seen his interviews about him in his life. He was a plumber. and then he did a bit of boxing when he was young. Decided he was a bum. He was doing plumbing, and then eventually he decided, I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, he did well. Cause don't get me wrong, he's done very good for MMA as a sport or whatever you want to call it. As an individual, he's marketed himself as a hectic product or whatever you want to call it. You know, other than that, bro, he's getting found out by everyone. Cause the next opponent, I guarantee he'll get demolished again. Doesn't matter who. Don't even mention me any names. He'll lose this next fight. Cause if he fights Ferguson will demolish him.
Well, who else can he fight?
Exactly. He's got no one else. His value is dropped ridiculously. Now because I won't even bother. Because I didn't even bother looking at the pre-conference fights. I didn't even listen to it. Obviously I saw it through Facebook. Even then I wasn't uninterested. You know what I mean? The only time I wanted to watch the guy was like everyone wanted to watch Floyd Mayweather. They want to see him lose. Same as me. I want to see him lose, and I did. Now he's done.
I've been a McGregor fan for a while. Okay, like even when he was coming up for the 145, he was on the when he actually versed Dustin Poirier for the first time. I remember that fight. I'm like, yeah, my guy, and he was a nobody.
Was that the fight where he's like, "We're not here to take part. We're here to take over"?
No, that was I think
the other guy, the
that German guy. No, it was a German. Siva, I think it was.
Was it?
Because he was in front of the Irish crowd.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That put him on the map.
That's iconic. Like, don't get me wrong. That's one of the most, I don't know, iconic moments. I think
it is probably
because it's a hectic call out. That's mad. Like if I, as a Turkish guy, if I fought and I said that, bro, we're not here to take power, we're here to take it. That's gangster.
And the reason why that's considered holy crap is because he backed it.
Yeah,
he backed it up. He knocked out Jose, won the double championships. He done. That's what I mean. Like he backed himself. You can genuinely see. Like I know, like Emin was saying, he works with McGregor fans and stuff. Ring rust, man. I seen John Jones come out of a ring rust, and fuck, that guy is a different.
What about Khabib, bro?
Normal,
he's a different animal. Like it's just, in my personal opinion, like Dana White was going, is that Rocky 3? Do you know what I mean? Like that middle part at the beginning. Ronda Rousey went through that. I got to applaud McGregor for what he's doing. He comes back, and the way he said it came
I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But he has my respect in that sense.
Look, I don't think it's the same thing. You know why? McGregor loves the money, bro. He comes back for the money. It's not about pride.
I don't think it's money. I think he loves the attention.
Yeah, attention and bro, he loves money, bro.
He loves fighting.
Yeah. There's that too. But like, it's two different things. Like Ronda Rousey realized she got fucked. That's it. She lost her cred. That's it. He's not gonna get his cred back.
He could. He can. He's got an opportunity. I think he does.
I think if he comes back, say if he comes,
because he's got plenty of options.
But he's got to come back in his next fight and win. But
yeah,
and
100. If he loses that, he's done.
Yeah, and his daddy Dana will give him some stand-up guy so that he can go.
Nah. Because where he, and the funny thing is where he is in the roster, he can be easily found out if someone's handpicked for him. Do you know what I mean? Like there's only a certain amount of people that would fit him in line for a title shot. Well, so he has to either be, it's got to be either like, and I know he probably won't verse most of these people, but Gaethje, I think Gaethje might destroy him.
Speaking on Gaethje, he actually came out and said if McGregor gets a title shot, I'm leaving UFC. Quote. Unquote.
I don't blame him. He's the number one contender, Gaethje. Yeah. So you got Gaethje. I would give Gaethje Conor. It's easy money.
Nah, I think the fight to make is Ferguson. They're both lost.
Yeah.
I think that's the fight to make.
I think Ferguson will fuck him up.
I think so
all
too.
Rounder, he's a better fighter.
But then again, I think Ferguson's done as well.
But you know what thing about Ferguson is? He's a stubborn fuck.
Yeah. He is.
He's like, I can destroy this guy on the ground. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to box with him.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
100%. It's ego. He's just going to go in there with a massive ego and get caught out.
But he's superior in groundwork, and his stand-up's not bad.
His stand-up's not bad, but
he takes too much damage.
He doesn't. Yeah, he just relies on my face will absorb it, but I'll make sure my fist hits them as well. But then if your punches aren't that good, like what was happening with Gaethje, where he almost knocked Gaethje. Was it the first round or the second? He almost knocked him out with that hectic uppercut. Sorry, and upper hook. Yeah. And, like when he did that uppercut. And then everyone was like, holy shit, that's it, Tony Ferguson. And then Gaethje came out, bam, killed him. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, that was...
Okay, I'll ask you a question. We'll move away from from Conor.
Yeah, enough.
Poirier. He came out and he said, I don't want to fight anyone. I should be the champion.
I agree. If Khabib's gonna hold it up, like
I don't think he's holding it
Khabib
up.
needs to make up his mind. Stop fucking around. Stop. You know.
But is it his fault? Think about it.
No, bro.
He came
like,
out
but
and he
he's
goes, I'm
still-
retired, and Dana's like, come on, bro. And he's
No,
like,
but see, like he goes, I'm gonna go talk to Dana and see what it is. Stop saying that. Say you're retired and that's it. I
But
don't need
he's-
to talk.
but he's not, from the get-go, it was, Dana's like, oh, I'm going to go talk to him. Or I'm going to meet up with him. I'm going to do this. It's like, bro, the guy said he's retired. How come when Henry Cejudo said he's retired, you just didn't go, you know what, we're moving on? Because he knows.
Yeah.
That's right. It's money.
That's
and
right.
I think when he saw that punch hit McGregor, he went,
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, everything's sinking.
you can see how depressed he was. But like, yeah, it was a good fight. You know what? In his mind, he's like, yeah, good on Poirier. It genuinely was like, I don't blame him like Poirier. I really don't. Because
Like, really, good on him.
you can't put him against Gaethje because he beat him.
Yeah.
You can't put him against who's that other one?
Chandler.
Not Chandler. You can't put him against Dan Hooker, who versed Chandler because he
Nah.
beat him. He beat Conor.
He got wrecked.
I think he'll destroy Ferguson. In my personal opinion, look, again, this as bad as this sounds, because Gaethje is the number one contender, the fight you're probably looking at is Poirier-Oliveira.
Oliveira, yeah.
And Oliveira's in form, but Oliveira's been defeated before as
Nah,
well.
I think Poirier will smash him.
Considering the run, I don't know.
I'm calling it now. If they fight, Poirier will smash Oliveira.
But I don't know.
Next minute, Oliveira knocks him.
Next minute, the one Poirier's injured. Conor steps in. Conor knocks out Oliveira.
Yeah,
and he's gonna
nah.
go. I'm going to fight Manny Pacquiao. Just before we move on to the Liverpool game, did you see March's card? Like, holy shit! Like that what was it, UFC 259 off the top of my head. The 3 title fights is like, if I'm yeah. Where is it? No, yeah.
Ah, Blachowicz and Adesanya.
No, not that one.
You said 259.
Maybe it's 260. Is it 260? Hold on. Fight card.
Man. I thought you, man.
No, it's 259, 259.
I thought you, man.
thought
Not
you.
kids, but you wouldn't
Like-
listen.
There's 3, like, that is, without anything announced, that is an absolute amazing card already. You got, you got Adesanya's fight, you got Nunes Anderson, and you got
Anderson.
Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling.
El Yamin still.
Like,
Yeah.
that's 3 hectic title fights.
Is
And
that
then-
that Nigerian guy? Yes.
Yeah. And then the next card after that, you got Miocic Ngannou and Ortega and what's that? Volkanovski. Like, there's some gun fights coming up.
Yeah,
Man.
there is.
Like, February is gonna be a bit boring. I apologize.
I
for
reckon
anyone that's fighting.
Volkanovski will smash Ortega.
Well, this is the new Ortega that, you know, when he got absolutely murdered to Holloway.
Bro.
He's punching me in the face, so I'm gonna move forward. But I have to give him credit. That chin held up, man. Like, Holloway was just like, hey, sparring session.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. It was like he must have just he just didn't turn up. Like, he just didn't want to be there, maybe. I don't know. Because I don't know.
Or maybe
There was
just
something
stage
wrong.
fright.
Yeah, I don't know. There was just something not right with that guy. Because
He shaved his head and it's come back. Liverpool M.
Mm-hmm.
You finally win a game and you finally score goals.
Finally scored a goal.
I know.
Bro.
But you know what's funny? Like, how many goals did you guys score in that game?
Like 5-6 goals.
You know how we've been talking about Liverpool being predictable?
Yeah.
That goal that got disallowed by Salah, bro, when he had that ball, I was like, top left corner. So predictable. And then he went top right corner. Do you think there's been some talk about switching stuff around here?
Klopp was like, "Hey Salah, I need you to start
There's two
shooting
corners,
another
mate."
way, mate."
You know what he did? You know, in NRL, we got the Wayne Bennett trick. It's like, pass to the right. And then he goes to another team. Mate, we're going to spice it up. Pass to the left. Nah, look, I only watched the mini match that Opta Sport gives. I was too busy in the financial world. To be honest,
That's 2 losses for Jose.
no, it's good for Liverpool from a sense of has like
We're coming back.
yeah. I don't know
We're
about
coming
coming
back.
back, but
No, we're coming back.
it's a good game to bounce off.
Step in
Yes.
the right
Yeah,
direction.
because Tottenham away. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not. It's a bad loss in the FA Cup. Yes, you lost to Manchester United, and to be honest, you guys shouldn't have lost
Burn
that.
job.
But coming back against Tottenham, even
But
though
that's United's trophy anyway.
What?
that's They wake
You
up
know-
in the middle at the start of the season and be like, FA Cup's fucking
Like,
ours.
Man United needs to get something. So you know what?
Why?
Let them.
Why? They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. Now, look, Liverpool, in my opinion, I wouldn't say that they're back because you tend to do good against bigger squads. That's why you lost against Man U.
Tottenham's
And,
a big squad.
Huh?
Tottenham's
I think Jose is a big enough manager
Yeah,
to
I
say
think
he's
so too.
managing a big squad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're a massive squad, like as in like kid following them with a poster on the wall type of shit. But no, it was definitely a good game. Firmino needs to stop handling balls.
That was such a blatant handball. I know he was being manhandles, but like, bro, you know when you're like playing that keep it up juggle game at the park and it's just a little bit too far, you're like back on your foot. It was one of the. It was full one of those. I didn't watch the game closely. I was obviously at work and we were driving around in the truck when we were watching it. I wasn't driving, by the way. But like there were stages 2-1. I think just before the Salah goal got disallowed, where Liverpool was like, "Do we park the bus? What do we do? Like we have all our men in our half," and it was just stressful. Going like, dude, we have a really shit defense. Like we don't want to be parking this bus right now and just getting pressure on. And then when Salah scored and then it got disallowed, I was like, oh shit. But definitely that Mane goal really, eased up. It was like, oh, we got it. But you look at stats, we dominated how many shots on target and stuff like that. So it's just nervous because we've been out of form really as a Liverpool supporter.
Well, it's a good game to win.
Exactly.
Klopp's
Exactly.
figured
It
it
was
out.
like, yeah, we got out in front and we kept in front. In fact, we put the foot on the pedal and opened up that gap a little bit. Hopefully it's form that starts us up again. I mean, to shake off that unbeaten run at Anfield and then come out and do this, I think it's good sign. I'm not saying
Could be
it's great, but
bounce in the right direction.
exactly, it's definitely a step in the right direction.
They come back.
Alexander Arnold's back, which who
Everyone was saying,
yeah,
"Get
dude,
rid of
he's been out of form for such a long time, and then he comes out and he scores in this game. Mane definitely that. Not only the goal, but he's finding space on the left was good.
Yeah.
We talked about, is there a chemistry problem between Salah and Mane? There was a pretty
They got put to bed.
genuine hug in Salah's and Mane's goal, so maybe not so much. But fuck Firmino off. I'm saying this for the billionth time.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
He's
Surely Klopp's gone.
I think he's
"All right,
done."
Yeah. Firmino is finished.
Famine now.
Firmino.
Oh, look. To be honest, I think once those three start to gel again,
Nah. Get rid of him.
I think he'll be a lot better because
What's the other guy?
Jota. I think they gelled better with him.
Yeah,
like
bro,
Jota was
straight
finishing.
out.
And it's not like it was just Jota scoring. Salah was still scoring. Mane was still scoring. It's just Jota was finishing what Firmino, when he gets the ball, I'm like, fuck, nah, it's not happening. But yeah, maybe it is time to switch stuff up. I mean, it was still sort of the same tactics. Move Mane on into space on the left, try and cut back into the middle sort of thing. But it worked. I don't know if Tottenham have not been watching Liverpool games for the last 2 seasons and didn't know what we're going to come at them with. But, even just changing Salah's shots from, bro, all right, you got a good left foot on you and you can get that left corner really, really good. But sometimes switch it up and go on the right. Like, you could see the keeper was actually perplexed.
Yeah.
Like, he was ready to jump right and then he realized his ball's going left. And what are you taught as a keeper? Like, go near post every time. And it took him by surprise. So, yeah, I'm happy with the win and definitely a step in the right direction. But if we can move the conversation away from Liverpool, a lot of talks about Lampard with Chelsea, in last week especially. And
So
there was
he's
actually
gone.
some fake news put out by like some Instagram page that he had been sacked, but he obviously is
I
not.
thought he was finished.
Yeah, I think it was Sky Sports or something on Instagram, I think, came up as like, Lampard's been sacked. And I was like, really?
Yeah, Chelsea boards officially came out and said that he was gone.
Lampard is sacked.
Is he? He's
Yeah,
gone?
because I'm
Oh,
confused.
okay, fuck. Okay, bro, I saw...
I'm going. Did I miss something?
No, I
That's
was
not something-
confused
I'm like,
because
I'm
I
sure.
saw
I'm
that.
thinking, I'm going, didn't Fighty just put out a video?
Yeah, like I saw that, and then I saw like some other thing. Maybe it was like later news that came out
Maybe
on
it was like a
Facebook.
day before.
Maybe. So maybe I was like confused about
Like,
it.
you scared me. I'm like,
No.
fuck, did I miss
Sorry,
something?
my bad. I got information wrong with Facebook.
we
Newsfeed
got-
not
we-
being in line.
We got Thomas Tuchel, who's the ex-PSG manager, ex-Dortmund manager. I did a bit of a video when Lampard got sacked, but I didn't. I was supposed to do one actually for when Thomas Tuchel got hired.
Signed. Yeah.
Hired in. Look, our first game against the Wolves, it was 0-0, but you can. It was weird because you can definitely see the team was a bit more vibrant, like as in a bit more loose, if that makes sense. Now again.
That comes with a manager change.
Yeah, that's always going to come with a manager change. Except like Thomas Tuchel, he's not a crap manager, but he's still undetermined is the best word. Okay, and I made this very clear in my other video, which was he went to PSG and won trophies, except the trophy that they're after,
Champions League.
Anyone can win in the French league. If I'm the coach of PSG. I don't need to rock up to them games.
Yeah.
They're going to win.
Did he rock up to Chelsea in like a tractor?
Why?
Because he came from the fucking Farmers League.
But even at Dortmund, okay, like we use an example, he only won the German Cup. He was absolutely
no domestic title.
He was dominated by Bayern Munich.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do much didn't do fuck all in the Europa League. He was the manager of that iconic game, if you guys remember, when Liverpool won 4-3 at Anfield. And with PSG, knocked out every single time.
Yeah.
Just couldn't win it.
Well, so, are you expecting a change for Chelsea here, or are you still doubtful? Was he the best manager to pick out of managers available?
See, that's the problem with what we can pick, because there's only so many managers that are currently available that fit a team like Chelsea. You only have him and Allegri.
Yeah.
Allegri, the ex-Juve coach, he has a style method like Antonio Conte, 3-5-2. He loves that 3-5-2, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work for us. Yeah, we won 18 games with Antonio Conte, but that was just a ride of form. It wasn't like, my tactics are falling. It was just we were just on form. I think Tuchel might be a better fit, considering one, he's German, Timo Werner's German, Havertz is German, Rudiger's German.
Far out, you guys just bought the German league.
We got the German league. Pulisic worked under him at Dortmund. So the two big players there is Werner and Havertz, both heavily out of form, and you got a manager that speaks their language. You know what I mean? And a manager that can sort of implement attacking football. So I don't know if he's going to come out and be like, guys, look, get your shit together. What I did like is in his first opening game,
You put him in the right position.
no, he didn't put him on. And that's what it should be. If you're out of form,
You don't play.
you don't play.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. You need to find your form back. He put Ziyech on and he put Hudson-Odoi on along with Giroud. Perfect. That is the perfect thing to do. Now, if you put Werner on and he doesn't score a goal, then what?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I've got to deal with this. Work with them. Get them to gel. Do you know what I mean? Get Havertz and Werner to gel. I think once that gel is complete,
Yeah.
it's gonna be an insane.
You guys have a
partnership.
gun squad. You guys made great transfers this season. It just hasn't worked
Yeah,
the best it could have.
I wouldn't look again. I stick by what I said in my Lampard sacking video. I wouldn't have sacked Lampard. Okay.
Yeah, it shows great loyalty by Chelsea.
I would have kept what's his name? I would have kept him for the Wolves and the Burnley game, because these are two games that are at Stamford Bridge, and just go, mate, make or break.
Show us what you got.
Yeah, it's a make or break. You don't get the results we need from this. See you later.
Weren't you complaining that he wasn't playing key players in the
Yes.
correct positions?
Yes, that's in my opinion, that's what caused this whole fucking derail of him playing Kante out of position, changing Werner constantly, putting Havertz constantly in the wrong area. What do you like?
Well, Kante plays a 6, right?
Kante plays as centre defensive midfield. He should be your number. He should be technically your number 5. Okay,
Yeah.
he should be the middle part between your midfielders
And your defenders. But he's the best in the world for it, so why are you playing him out of position?
I'm not playing him out of position.
No, I know, but like...
I know what you're trying to say. Like,
it's
why would
like
you do that?
you have the best striker in the world and you decide to play him wing and put someone there who's not as capable. Like,
That's right.
why?
Like, even like I give Didier Deschamps, which is the French manager, I got to give him credit, because when Frank Lampard was benching Giroud, he pretty much was, there was a head-to-head with him and Lampard in the media. They were just going back and forth. He's going in the French training, and in the games, he's the starter. He's scoring goals, and he's gunning training. He goes, why wouldn't you start him? He goes, that's it. He goes, why wouldn't you start him? And then it sort of fit into Lampard's ego. Like someone else is saying that.
It was an ego.
And he didn't start him.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to prove you wrong. I've got a better player here. So what happened? He put Giroud on. What happened? 2 goals. Next game, hat-trick. Game after that, 4 goals. He scored like 15 goals in like 8 games or something like that.
He scored some critical ones last season as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then you could just sort of see like Didier Deschamps just like, like
he's got such a biscuit name. Like if I made a biscuit, I'd name it Deschamps.
Like take the advice of a World Cup winning manager. You're new to the game. Don't fit it into your ego.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong. I know Gerrard is lined up for the Liverpool job. Once Klopp goes, he's lined up for that job.
Agree.
It is. And you guys are going to go through the same thing we did.
Was it too
I
early,
disagree.
too soon
Guys
for
will.
Lampard?
Stevie G
What do you mean
is
too
a
soon?
Like
legend.
to jump into a big team like Chelsea so early in his career, did he need to be cooked a little bit? Like,
No, I think what was Frank Lampard's biggest problem, and this falls, and again, it falls on who made the decisions here, is his signings. He shouldn't have come out and bought 220 million pounds of players and gone, all right,
let's not make top 6.
I'm gonna figure it out. He shouldn't have done
It
that.
should work.
Like he should have went, okay, you know what? I need a winger. All right, sweet. I'll buy a winger. Don't be like, all right, I'm going to buy Werner, who can play potentially winger or striker, but I already have 3 strikers. So let me go buy another winger. And then, we need a midfielder, so let me go buy this. Let me go buy. It's like, man, you had a defensive issue. Go buy a fucking defender, which we still haven't bought. Like, we got Thiago Silva, sorry. Absolute gun. I think that guy's on the benchmark of one of the best players, and he looks like one of the nicest players as well. But the guy's 35.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but the guy is playing like a 25-year-old compared to what we have currently.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, let's build a squad where he's running the defense. Okay, and then what are you doing next year when he goes?
When he has his grandkids.
like what are you gonna do when that guy goes? When you lose that leadership out of the team?
Thiago Silva, David Silva. There you go. You guys fucked up when you got rid of him.
David Silva.
Not David Silva, sorry.
Luiz.
David Luiz,
Nah,
yeah.
I'm happy David Luiz went. I'm happy David Luiz went. I feel like the timing was perfect for him to leave.
Yeah.
Because he comes to a point where his anger versus his performance.
Ability.
Yeah, pretty much where he gets the shits, and you can see it on the field.
But fuck, I can't believe I got bamboozled by that late thing. I was like, because I sent the video in the WhatsApp group, like even last week that he got sacked, I was like, fart your thoughts, and I tagged you in it. And then I saw that he wasn't, I was like, and I've had such a crazy week that I didn't even see your post on it, so big apologies, everyone.
Scaring me and shit. Nah, well, look, we're just going to have to just see how it goes. Tuchel's pretty much got a write-off season.
Yeah.
He does have a good squad, but if he fails and doesn't make top 4, he can always come out and say, well, it's not my squad. It's not the squad that I wanted to build.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But Champions League still coming up. The irony about Chelsea is this. When we sack managers, we win trophies. That's the irony. Champions League, Europa League.
Maybe
FA
that's
Cup.
why they sacked him.
Yeah, they said we've got to follow our standard procedure. Frank, fuck off. We're going to win the Champions League.
Might be a good idea to get a good coach. Every year sack him, like at the start. Get someone shit and cheap. Sack him halfway. Sack him halfway through the year and just get your silverware.
Why not, man? That's how we won the Champions League. Di Matteo. It's good catching up, boys.
It has been a great chat.
Before we go, we're on multiple platforms now. I don't know off the top of my head. I should know this.
We'll eventually be on everything if you've gone through Anchor.
We're on everything. So we're on Spotify. We're going on to Apple shortly. Google Play Store, Google Podcast, sorry. Anchor and all that type of stuff. You'll see everything in the descriptions. So just to have a shout out. If you don't want to watch us because we're ugly, I get it. Just listen to us. We're on Spotify. Well, I'm ugly. I shouldn't say anything about them.
We're ugly too, man.
I'm pretty.
There's prettiness right there. Look at
Whoa.
That's what my
So-
wife says.
We're on Spotify as well, so you're more than happy to give us a listen. If not, look, if you have any questions or you want to harass us or we said something stupid, leave a comment down below and we'll get
Well,
Do you want to
Don't.
address one of the comments that was made last week then?
Oh, yeah.
While we're on the topic?
Imran, do you want to take that one? Or
Yeah, I'd have to read through the message again just so that we're giving him the fairness of
while you find out, so Imran's comment was regarding the Google v Australia debacle that's currently going back and forth. The irony is, I saw a comment today on YouTube and I couldn't stop laughing. It was like, Google says support us, and it's like News Corp says support us, and everyone is just saying, well, just you guys just fight. Like, we don't care.
pretty much Imran came out and said that if media outlets abandoned Google in a way and that Google was no longer in Australia, that it would just give opportunity for competitors like Bing or some other search engine
What
to
a
take part.
Idiot.
He said that even though their algorithms are not as good as Google's, it would be enough exposure for these media outlets to come across. He said that these media outlets are big because of what they've done in the past without Google anyway, like with their television or whatever. And he said that they would be fine without Google, pretty much, to sum up.
I would disagree with him.
I disagree as well.
I would disagree.
That's 3 people that disagree with you, Imran.
We say no more. Done.
Idiot.
I would disagree from the sense of
He is a listener, so we don't treat our listeners like that. But
Fuck him.
just so you guys know, he's a personal friend.
Nah, I don't know who this guy is. Who is he?
I would probably disagree with him from the sense of, if we're talking about something small, like
Because statistically, what is it? 98% of people in Australia use Google. Or was it 99%?
where did you get this number from?
I
think
just
it was.
made it
I think
up.
it was the head of Google in
It's in
Australia.
my
No. A few people were saying it. Like, I know it's in 90-something% people.
Well, what the fuck's
Are
wrong
you
with the-
telling me someone's going, I refuse to use Google, I'm using Bing?
No, I'm not saying that, but you got to keep this in mind. Microsoft search engine comes automatically with Bing. Now, you and I probably, yes, use Google, but you got your average person who doesn't know how to install certain things.
Which is
which use Bing.
0.1%.
I don't think they're 0.1%, but you'd be surprised how many people don't know how to use Google. You know what? Whilst I'm answering,
Is it
you
a
may
bit
find out.
biased? But I'm
Google it.
Googling the... Like,
How many
Google's
percent of
gonna-
You know
Australians
what?
use
Bing
Google?
it. Bing it.
All right,
Let's
let's
see
go.
what ad comes up. Let's see if you struggle with that.
Bing
Uh,
Google.
Look,
I did Bing
I
Google.
probably would disagree only on the sense of what Google's actually involved in. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing remotely close to what Google is.
No.
Like, and it's not a point where it's like, okay, when I think Google, you got your Drive, you got your YouTube, you got your Mail, you got your search engine, you got your AdSense, you got everything you got your analytics, everything that's gonna come with it. Well, if you got rid of Google, you'd probably have to go to multiple different types of companies or multiple different types of platforms to get what you need. Do you know
And
what I mean?
we'd be back at the Stone Age.
Pretty much. Like, who's your closest competitor for YouTube?
Okay.
Dailymotion.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like, is it a competitor?
Does Dailymotion actually have its own platform for putting videos, or are they just linking YouTube videos?
No, they got their own. Well, I don't know anymore, but they used to have their own. I used to watch Hell's Kitchen on there, but I don't know where they are currently because everything's mainly YouTube. Drive, okay, fair enough. You can probably go more along with Drive, but the way that it's integrated through everything sort of makes
Yeah.
your life a bit easier as well. Gmail is slowly starting to pick up because. Me personally, I use Gmail because when I was overseas, I couldn't access my live account because it told me it was going to message my Australian number.
Yeah.
And that pissed me off. So I switched to Gmail. Maps, the closest thing is Waze. Do you know what I mean? And even in that scenario, you can see the app itself that Maps is creating for you, or like the user platform of ease upon the person is a lot better.
Does Waze use its own maps, or is it just linked to Google Maps as well?
I think Waze does use a different
all use it.
engine. No, I think they use a different engine. But I could be wrong on that one. Maybe they do receive certain data from Google.
Yeah.
But maybe Google runs it all.
But like you got to consider like even small things like Uber Eats are using Google Maps, and you can track your food coming to you and stuff like that. You get rid of Google, like what steps in? Like can Waze do the same thing that does on those apps? And I'm just not talking about food. Like almost everything that you can track is using Google in some sort of way. I disagree with Imran, and I completely agree with what you're saying.
And we'll leave it at that.
I'm going to address the second part where he says that media outlets will be fine without Google. Yeah, look, they're up there because, at some point, the way that they were delivering their forms of media was right. Like, it was good. And I sort of touched on this last week, like, who actually watches free-to-air television these days? You know what I mean?
I do.
So I think that...
I actually do. Because I run out of shit on, like... I think the range of choice that we have on Netflix and other streaming platforms, I get over it. I'm literally not spoiled, but like...
Do you watch free-to-air for news? Like intentionally?
No, for document like SBS Viceland, SBS World Movies.
But that's what I think that's what he's trying to get to.
I don't have to fuck around with the choice of having to go, oh yeah, it's good, and then 5 minutes into it, I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah,
so
but see what we're talking about, the bookstores with what Amazon did, and bookstores are like that. I feel like free to air is only for like niche, weird, like,
yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like not mainstream stuff, but like the media got big at a time when television. Like, all right, let's start right off. Newspapers were big, right? And then it went to like radio, and then it went to television, and like, bro, they're pretty much done with newspaper, right? Radio is like
is on its way.
Yeah, it's not on, but it's all digital now and stuff like that. It's not the same thing as it used to be. Television, like I said, like I don't. Everyone I speak to, they just watch Netflix.
Same.
And like TV is on its way down. You're trying to bring it into a more modernized society and make it appealing to people. Google is your way of doing it, or search engines are the way to do it. You get rid of Google, is Bing going to have the right algorithms, blah, blah, blah. I don't think they can reestablish as strongly without Google as to when they could with Google, or what they are with Google. So ultimately, like I said last week, Google doesn't lose out of this. Worst case scenario, they lose 25 million people in Australia, and they've still got it, overseas. Whereas I think that the media comes out second best if Google does go away.
I'll probably agree with you on that, on the sense of putting 25 million people backwards regarding technology is considered punishment where the people will suffer.
And we're just going to use, VPNs to be able to get on Google or whatever.
We'll use American service.
Imagine that, I need to use a VPN to search
to get to
where
my
I'm
pizza
gonna
shop.
eat.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, coming back to
I wanna
original
use
question.
that.
So from an average of 3 sites, okay, I've got pretty much it's 90%. At a whole, and that's being generous.
Which makes more sense than
But
98%.
I'm being very generous. I'm being very generous. Like it's closer to 9. Bro, I've got one. So the first comes up to 94.37%. The second one comes up to 88%.
What's the percentage for though?
Oh, it actually gives me a chart. No, it really does.
Did you just look at numbers
You
and go,
find it-
yeah?
No. So
We want a pie graph.
So www.statcounter.com gives the stat for 94.37%, Bing 3%, DuckDuckGo
Of what though?
of the Australian market.
Of the searching.
Yeah, so search engine market share Australia, December 2019 to December 2020.
Yeah, I heard about DuckDuckGo.
DuckDuckGo is on the dark web, mainly used on the dark web.
DuckDuckGo.
Hence,
Yes,
it makes
that
sense
is
on the
true.
name.
Yes.
DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, because people shoot at you when you're on the dark web, and the thing goes.
I just thought about like quacks. But,
When the thing goes.
94%
You'll
makes
be
sense.
ducking.
It does make sense because
In one way or another. The only way you could be away from Google is if you didn't have a smartphone, honestly.
Yeah.
No,
Could you
not
be on a
really.
smartphone and not be using Google in some way?
Because Google's got their own phone. What's Bing got? Nothing.
They do.
Cause and I just went through the Bing search and it did not give me nothing. It was useless. Cause it was terrible. Like Bing stuffed up.
What do you think
Right
I
now,
asked you to use Bing?
our 100 viewers are gonna be.
Hey, just to let, you said Google has a phone. Bing is owned by Microsoft, my friend. Microsoft has phones.
What model? No, what model?
Microsoft Bing.
Exactly.
Actually, I don't know. What
Isn't the
race on-
Xbox Series 16CT a phone as well? Like,
I don't
Guys, Microsoft, they may make decent computer programs. Other than that, They're trying to get their hands in what Google's already got.
Operating system.
And now they realize they're useless, so Bill Gates is going into vaccines.
What's that meme that with the guy that created viruses, so you buy an antivirus is creating a vaccine.
Vaccine. Exactly.
I'm not saying anything.
No. Because
we're not saying anything.
We're perfectly
We're not saying
we
anything.
are implying
We're not
that
saying anything.
Bill
know.
Gates is
Speak on
responsible
this
for corona.
because YouTube will demonetize us, and we're not getting into this.
They're
Bill Gates is
gonna know.
responsible for
They're
coronavirus.
They're gonna know.
No one's gonna
COVID-19
know.
is Bill Gates.
No one's gonna know. But coming back to Imran's one, I think the news outlets are going to get really, really forked. Well, think about it like this, okay? How do you actually go into, like, how many people? This should be a stat that they should actually release. How do they get to the news article?
Yeah.
Does that
Do they
make
just
sense?
go 9news.com or
Do you go, like, me personally? Yeah, fair enough. I go on my morning catch-up session, but I'm not speaking on behalf of everyone.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, does the average person go on Facebook because, yes, they follow maybe Sydney Morning Herald or ESPN, I'm just giving an example, and go, you know what? And then they click into the article through Facebook.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or are they actually genuinely going, Sydney Morning Herald, which after 5 articles you have to pay for anyway? Do you genuinely scroll down and look for what you want, like catch up like that? Are people genuinely doing that, or are people genuinely going on their social media and it's just popping up?
Yeah. And you know what? You bring up another point of the paying for it. Bro, I don't want to pay for Sydney Morning Herald when there's free websites that give me the news. All right, they might not be as credible and like reliable, but bro, if I'm finding about an accident that happened in Parramatta on the way home to see if everyone's all right, that website that's not as credible is going to give me the same information as Channel 9 or one of the more Sydney Morning Herald, for example.
To be fair, and I think in untouched basis on this last week, when it comes to accidents as well, I'm probably our main source of knowledge probably comes from Humans
Auburn
of Bankstown,
2444.
or Auburn 2144. So, and we get a first hand like that.
They get there before Channel 9 News does.
Well, it's like people go, these guys are needed for the media to give us the news, pretty much, dude. Before you even write the article, there's thousands of people on Twitter talking about
reference
when the car hit.
I know. I remember I saw it on one of the videos.
When the car hit me in Auburn, it was on like those Facebook groups of the dodgy drivers Sydney and dash cams Australia. I was on there before I got home, and no Channel 9 turned up. So like, and that's the small thing that like Channel 9, Channel 10 wouldn't turn up to. But there is an immense amount of information that's being shared really rapidly before getting to the news and whatever. So
to be fair, also, when I see certain things on Twitter, like the average person explaining me something, and there's here's an article, you can sort of make up your own mind. Does that make sense? While
it's not being pushed on you.
Yeah, like with Channel 10, 7 and 9, I already know that they're leftist type of media and they're pushing a certain agenda. I already know this straight away. So that's why I always I read that and I go, okay, but then what does their rival? I'm not like 7, 8 and 9. Sorry, 7, 10 and 9. They're not rivals. Yeah, they're rivals when it comes to paper
ratings,
TV
and
ratings
blah,
and stuff like that. But they're not your media rate. Like it's not CNN versus Fox like compared to America. Do you know what I mean? I go into their other websites and I go, okay, what did these guys telling me that these guys aren't telling me?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
it's the same shit.
It's usually as simple as a different choice of words for explaining it.
100%.
Like, oh man, it makes such a difference using, and this comes back to my grammatical education, but like that whole subject and whatever relationship, bro. Sometimes you listen to a guy on a certain thing who's been stabbed, and it's almost like he's the one who did the wrong. You know what I mean? Like, bro, he got stabbed. He wasn't.
They forced an agenda.
Yeah, that's right. So I completely agree with what you're saying. Sometimes and that's what I was talking to you about, those websites that are like free and small and whatever it is, like not as big as a corporation as like some of those other ones. It seems more genuine.
Yeah, I'll probably agree with that.
Like, I just want information. I don't want something pushed onto me. And I agree.
A guy did this, a guy did that. Sweet.
He died.
This is the
done.
outcome.
Okay.
He's dead. Move on.
Yep.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, this guy, this widowed wife has been left. It's like, bro, just explain it to me. I don't want to hear about your nationality. I don't want to hear what religion they're part of. I don't want to hear about all this type of little thing. Just give me what happened.
Can I give you a massive example of this? Like, do you remember when Michael Jackson died? Right?
Did he?
What was being questioned? Right? Like he was given the wrong medication, or like it was the medication that killed him, right? And then there was all these conspiracy theories about whether his doctor had done this on purpose, whether they did it to get rid of him, and then. I don't know if you guys know this, but the doctor was actually found dead in his apartment, right? I don't know if, I'm not 100% sure if I'm remembering the right case, but let's just go with it. It was like one of these other things where conspiracy comes out. I'm pretty sure it was the Michael Jackson case. Bro, the media clearly said this. The doctor who prescribed Michael Jackson to these drugs was found dead in his apartment today, and it is not being treated suspiciously. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, why do you need to say that?
Well, because they want to make sure it's like the average person is going to go, well, the media told me that he was a normal deaf man. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know if it was his doctor, man.
I don't know if it was Michael Jackson. I
know 150% if I replaced the word doctor with Jeffrey Epstein, that happened.
Yep. He was
Jeffrey
murdered.
Epstein hung himself.
Murdered.
Even though he was on suicide watch, and he was found with multiple straitjackets in his cell along with pens, and a security guard camera didn't work.
I stuffed up. It wasn't that. Do you remember how there was that thing where the government was getting? Oh man, I don't remember. It wasn't the Michael Jackson thing. It was someone who did the whistleblowing was found dead in their apartment, and it wasn't being treated suspiciously. It was something about the government getting information on people or something like that. It became massive. This was like maybe 3-4 years ago. But next week podcast, I'll have more information on. I'll actually look it up.
Hold you to that.
So apologies, it wasn't Michael Jackson's doctor. Man, I'm making some mistakes.
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein was murdered 100%. You know what I mean?
I'm not 100% agreeing with
do you know what I mean?
I agree with you.
Who's Jeffrey Epstein?
Nah, dude, I don't want to get into that. We're probably going to get banned speaking about him.
No.
All right, boys. It was nice catching up with you. Next week, if we're all invested in Dogecoin, I'll see you on the yacht. All good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Bugatti's left, right and centre.
Last but not least, Hood Us, lad. Hood Us.
What is that?
What the fuck is that?
People can figure it out.
Bing it.
On that note, ciao, ciao.
So.